Imagine being born into a year when the sun dimmed, crops failed, streets emptied, and fear ruled daily life across continents, including America. But the truth behind this will shock you. Tonight, we rank 10 years nobody would ever choose, years stacked with war, plague, hunger, and chaos, revealing a frozen summer, a globe-killing sickness, and a war-ending cities forever. These stories are real brutal, and human people woke up normal. Watch life collapse fast as systems failed, neighbors vanished, and survival became the only goal left. History is not dusty books. It is regular families facing bad luck, terrible timing, and worse leaders. Some years hit so hard they reshaped the planet for generations. Our list jumps across continents, cultures, and empires. Sources suggest weather flipped, disease exploded, and armies burned homes. These were not isolated messes. Everything stacked together at once. We start with a year many historians reportedly call the worst to be alive. No warning, no escape. Just darkness, cold air, and empty fields stretching beyond sight. In that year, the sky turned gray for months. Crops failed. Summer felt like winter. Records say people prayed at noon because daylight looked like dusk everywhere. This was 536 AD when a massive volcanic eruption allegedly filled the air with ash. Temperatures dropped, food chains collapsed. Imagine America losing harvests nationwide for years straight. People starved quietly at first. Then loudly, sources suggest famine killed millions across Europe and Asia. Empires weakened, plagues followed. One disaster unlocked many more behind it. But wait, that was only the beginning. Centuries later came a year when death moved faster than rumors, with no bombs and no warning sirens anywhere suddenly. In 1348, the Black Death ripped through cities. Estimates say 1 out of 3 Europeans died. Streets filled with carts carrying bodies daily as families vanished overnight. Doctors fled, families vanished overnight. Rats, fleas, and trade routes carried death everywhere. No cures, no answers, only fear spreading faster than help in every city worldwide. People blamed neighbors, outsiders, and stars. Fear turned into violence. Communities fractured. Trust died along with millions of lives during that brutal year across entire continents globally. Now here is where things get really interesting. Not every terrible year was ancient. Some hit modern times with radios, newspapers, and cameras watching horror live unfold. Jump to 1918 World War. One was ending, but another killer arrived. The Spanish flu, sources say it infected a third of humanity within months. Very quickly, young adults dropped suddenly. Hospitals overflowed. Masks became common. Cities shut down. Coffins ran out. Families buried loved ones without goodbyes. As panic spread everywhere fast nationwide. In America alone, hundreds of thousands reportedly died globally. Tens of millions vanished, all during celebrations for peace. Imagine winning a war then losing everything anyway afterward. But if you think that is crazy, wait until you hear this. Some of the worst years were built slowly by human decisions stacked over painful time. In China between 1959 and 1961, the Great Famine struck. Policies failed, weather hurt crops. Historians say food existed, but access disappeared for millions of rural families. Sources suggest over 30 million people died, villages emptied, families broke. A part silence covered suffering because speaking up was dangerous. Then under strict political pressure nationwide there. Think about that. Enough food existed yet millions starve. That is not bad luck. That is systems failing hard through denial, fear, control, and silence by leaders. Now zoom to a violent year near the end of World War II. A year proving humanity could erase cities instantly with one decision and no remorse. 1945 changed everything. 2 atomic bombs dropped entire neighborhoods, vanished survivors, faced burns, sickness, and fear, lasting decades while the world watched in shock helplessly. This was not just destruction. It was a warning humans now had power to end themselves. Every future year lived under that shadow of total annihilation fear. This brings us to the most shocking discovery of all: the worst years were not random accidents. They followed patterns, stacking disasters, weakening societies before collapse. Hit empires fall when food fails. Disease spreads. When trust breaks, wars erupt. When fear wins, history shows systems cracking, not chaos, and these warnings repeat over time. Once you see these patterns, you cannot unsee them. Disasters cluster, suffering multiplies, and recovery becomes harder. Each step when leaders ignore reality and delay action too. Before we wrap up part 1, there is one final thing you need to know. These years were hell, but people survived, adapted, rebuilt, and remembered lessons. Survival did not mean winning. It meant enduring, sharing scarce resources, and refusing to fully give up hope, while the world around them collapsed repeatedly without mercy. Those lessons matter now more than ever because modern life feels stable until it suddenly is not. History shows warning signs appear long before collapse hits hard. We will dive deeper into how these dark years connect and what they quietly warn us about today. If we are willing to listen closely, because the scariest truth is not that these years happened. It is that they can happen again when warnings are ignored and power replaces compassion and empathy. History never whispers. It leaves clues and pain patterns and survivor stories waiting for someone to notice before repeating the same cycle with new names and faces. So take a breath as we pause here, because what comes next reframes everything you think you know about survival collapse and the cost of denial globally. Further, we reveals the deeper connections tying these nightmare years together into one warning humanity keeps missing again. Get ready, because the next chapter pulls back the curtain on choices, power, and consequences that still shape our lives today, tomorrow, and far into the future. Everything you have heard so far is just the setup. The real shock is how close it all feels now when you compare patterns across time carefully. Stay with me, because understanding yesterday may be the only way to protect tomorrow from repeating disasters driven by fear, denial, and broken leadership across nations worldwide. This pause matters because history rewards attention and punishes ignorance every single time, especially when early warnings are mocked, ignored, or buried by those in power structures. We move faster, darker, and deeper into the years that broke humanity and reshaped it, showing how everything connects like dominoes falling worldwide. Nothing you have learned here is meant to scare you. It is meant to prepare you with knowledge, patterns, and awareness history demands for survival and progress, because preparedness, hope, and honesty saved people before, and they will save people again when chaos rises and systems begin to crack under. Pressure everywhere globally now. This story is not about doom. It is about survival and what it truly costs when comfort fades and hard choices take over entire societies at once. Hold that thought as we cut here, because the next moments change everything about how these years link into one warning we still struggle to accept today. The first half of the story ends now, but the countdown of humanity's darkest years is far from finished. And what follows may feel uncomfortably familiar if you look closely enough. Take a moment, then continue. Because the truth only works if you face it fully without denial, excuses, or turning away from discomfort. When history speaks loudly, everything ahead builds on this foundation and pushes toward the most unsettling realization of all about how fragile civilization really is beneath comfort, routine, technology, and belief. Stay ready, because part 2 connects the dots and closes every loop we opened here, revealing why these years still matter right now more than ever before. We pick up where the patterns sharpen, because history does not reset. It escalates when pressure meets denial and small failures stack until everyday life finally breaks everywhere. Now we rewind to ancient China again during the endless Shan Rebellion. A civil war so deadly sources suggest tens of millions died as cities burned, fields emptied, and order vanished. Soldiers switched sides constantly. Villages were erased overnight and famine followed violence. People did not know who ruled or who to trust from one week to the next. Imagine highways, empty grocery stores gone, and law changing daily. That chaos crushed families faster than weapons, because survival depended on guessing correctly every single day. This rebellion did not end. China had forced reform, new systems, and cultural shifts, proving disaster can break nations, yet also forced painful evolution afterward. But wait, another century brought the Taiping Rebellion, another nightmare year stretch. Religion, politics, and desperation mixed into a war that reportedly killed over 20 million people. Entire regions emptied rivers filled with bodies, and faith was used as fuel for violence. This was not ancient mystery. It was human belief weaponized under pressure. The pattern repeats again. Leaders promise certainty, followers cling hard. Outsiders get blamed. And once violence starts, it feeds itself like wildfire in dry wind conditions. Now step back and connect everything. Volcanic winter, weakened crops, famine, invited disease, war, finished the job. Disasters rarely work alone. They stack like dominoes falling. This is the system-level truth. Nobody teaches bad years are rarely one event. They are chains, and breaking one link early can save millions later. So what does this mean for us today? It means comfort can hide risk and stability can vanish faster than confidence. When warning signs get ignored, climate stress, food supply, trust in systems, leadership, honesty. These are the same pressure points history keeps testing again and again across different eras. Short-term denial feels good. Long-term honesty saves lives. Sources: societies that adapted early survived longer with less suffering than those clinging to pride. Here is another uncomfortable fact. Many worst years started with leaders silencing. Bad news pretending problems were temporary while damage quietly multiplied everywhere. People at the top delayed action. People at the bottom paid the price. This pattern appears in famine, war, and disease repeatedly across centuries. The lesson is simple, but hard preparation beats panic. Community beats control. Truth beats comfort every single time. History does not bend on this rule. Before we close, there's one final reveal. Most people who lived through the worst years did not think they were. Living through history, they thought life was just hard, unfair, and temporary. Perspective only came later through survivors. Stories, records, and scars passed down generations. That means right now could be a setup year. Not the collapse, but the warning stage where choices decide which path follows next. This is where the loop closes from the start. Those dark years were not cursed. They were neglected, ignored, and allowed to grow unchecked. History is not scary because it is violent. It is scary because it is predictable. When humans repeat the same mistakes under different names, if this opened your eyes, remember, knowledge is useless. Without action, awareness must turn into preparation and empathy before pressure hits hard. We are not doomed, but we are tested, and history keeps the receipts showing exactly how past generations passed or failed those tests. That is why these years matter, not to scare you, but to arm you with pattern recognition and perspective. Others paid for dearly if you made it this far. You now understand why survival is never random. It is built slowly long before disaster arrives. So here's your takeaway. Bad years are made, not born, and good years are protected, not guaranteed, by daily choices and accountability. If you want more stories like this, hit like so this reaches more people. Subscribe for deep dives into history's darkest moments. Share this with someone who thinks history is boring, because reality was far wilder than fiction ever dared to be. Comment below which year shocked you the most and what lesson hit hardest. Like, subscribe, and share.